I'd like to call to order this regular council meeting in the town of Saugeen Shores. The first order of business is a declaration of pecuniary interest, and I'll remind every member of your responsibility to do so. The next item on the agenda then is adoption of minutes, and it's been moved by Councillor Brown and seconded by Councillor Legault that council adopts the minutes of the council meeting of August the 11th, 2014 as presented. Any questions or comments? All in favor then? That's carried. The next item is committee of the whole minutes of August the 11th, and it's been moved by Councillor Frost, seconded by Councillor Huber. The council will note and file the committee of the whole minutes of August the 11th, 2014. Any questions or comments? All in favor then? That's carried. The next item on the agenda is the Community Services, Parks and Recreation report, and I have the motion then that is moved by Councillor Shildroth and seconded by Vice Deputy McGowanlock. The Council of the Town of Saugeen Shores adopts the Community Services, Parks and Recreation report dated April 11, 2014, recommending that the EDA Collaborative Incorporated be awarded the contract for the Port Elgin Waterfront Design Concept and Budget Allotment Project at a cost of $27,500 plus HST. Questions or comments to that? All in favor then? That's carried. Next item on the agenda, there's a committee report here, and I have a motion, and I think you're going to introduce somebody here, so I'll read the motion, and then we'll deal with it. Is that fine? Sure, then it's been moved by Deputy Mayor Charbonneau and seconded by Councillor Legault. The Council of the Town of Saugeen Shores approves the Downtown Revitalization Committee report as follows. 1, that the contents of the Port Elgin Toolkit be endorsed by Council and be used as a guideline to inform future public and private marketing and infrastructure revitalization investments in Port Elgin. And 2, that the contents of the Southampton Toolkit be endorsed by Council and be used as a guideline to inform future public and private marketing and infrastructure revitalization investments in Southampton. So before we call the motion, we'll probably hear the report and go ahead, Luke.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. In the fall of 2013, Council adopted a recommendation authorizing the reallocation of funds to join with the County of Bruce to make an application through the RED program. The purpose of the application was to assist municipalities with the next steps in developing marketing plans focused on their downtown cores. Many in Bruce County downtowns had already developed community toolkits, which are the basis for downtown revitalization initiatives, creating unique brand statements and associated imagery that can coalesce previously independent initiatives and focus resources. The participation of Saugeen Shores in the grant program hinged on the development of similar toolkits. Undertaking the project was approved by Council in October 2013, and the RED grant funding allowed the project to proceed was obtained this spring. The development of the toolkits were coordinated through the Spruce to Bruce program, coordinated by County Planning and the Economic Development staff. The documents themselves evolved from community-based sessions held in April. The draft documents were circulated for feedback to staff and to downtown business liaison groups that have evolved as sounding boards for assisting the county with the project. Subsequently, drafts were presented to the Downtown Revitalization Committee, and feedback there resulted in further refinement. The Port Elgin Toolkit was endorsed by the committee in July, and the Southampton Toolkit was endorsed by the committee last week. An overview of the documents can be seen at attachments here, and I believe they'll be available on the municipal website. And so it is my recommendation on behalf of the Downtown Revitalization Advisory Committee that these toolkits be endorsed by Council. And I'll just add that I want to say congratulations and thank you to the folks who are who've taken part in developing these toolkits. They've done a lot of hard work on putting this together, and I think we've come up with some great documents. And we have some folks here this evening. I think Alana and Kara here from the county, and they have a short report that they want to put forward. And we also have representatives from both Port Elgin and Southampton in the room who have helped work on this, who can also talk about the toolkit. So with your permission, Mr. Mayor, we invite them up, and we could have that presentation.
There we go. That's helpful. Thank you for having us, Mr. Mayor. As mentioned, my name is Alana Young, and I'm here as a project coordinator on behalf of the County of Bruce, and also Caravan Mile as senior planner with Bruce County Planning and Economic Development. So we're hoping to present a short presentation to give you some background information today about the process behind the community design toolkits for both Southampton and Port Elgin. And as mentioned, we do have representatives both from stakeholder groups and from the Downtown Advisory Committee here to speak to any questions following the presentation. So, as many of you are familiar with, a little bit of background information about the Spruce the Bruce program. So the Spruce the Bruce program is a downtown revitalization program hosted at the County of Bruce that supports downtown revitalization throughout the region. It's based on the Main Street Matters four-pillar approach out of the United States, which has been going on for about 30 plus years. The unique difference between the Spruce the Bruce program, though, and the Main Street program out of the United States is it also layers a brand and destination development agenda onto our downtown revitalization plans. So this slight differentiation between the Main Street approach and the Spruce the Bruce approach is the Main Street approach has four pillars. So we focus on economic development, marketing and promotion, organization and collaboration, and physical design. So we take many of these traits through the Spruce the Bruce program, but we do actually add on the branding and destination development piece. So our program essentially has not only four pillars, but 5 steps. So I'd like to explain a little bit of the background information on how the community toolkits works through all of these steps in both Port Elgin and Southampton. So as you can see on this slide, we have our 5 steps here. So we've got the organizational component, which is essential to be able to get everybody working on the same page. And this has really been the catalyst with having the Downtown Advisory Committee in formation over the last 2 years, working extensively on the organization and facilitating our community stakeholders at different levels to be able to get us through. So it takes us on to our second stage of Energize. And this is really where we started to develop our community vision and our community branding through the development of the toolkit process. So in order for us to be energized, we needed to be able to have kind of a focused approach. And as Luke had mentioned, we were participating with the province of Ontario in a rural economic development project that allows us to take our downtown marketing to the next level. So with the assistance of the DRAC committee and our downtown stakeholders, we've been able to do some background information and bring together a community toolkit today. So a little bit more background information on the community toolkits. As mentioned, it takes all the necessary steps to be able to put them together and take us through the remaining 5 steps of the Spruce the Bruce program. That third step on the strategy is contained within the community design toolkits because they have action plans, and then this allows us to help set priorities. Our downtown committee set priorities, establish goals, and reevaluate these on a regular basis to be able to ensure our downtown is functioning and developing as best way possible. The visualization comes out in the toolkit, and this provides examples for how this brand can be translated onto the ground, into the look and feel. It also gives us some great illustrations and some ideas and food for thought. And the 5th and final stage of the Spruce the Bruce program is supporting the capital to see these projects go from idea into reality. So a little bit more background info about our brand camp session we held in April of earlier this year, where we had a wonderful gathering of stakeholders, municipal staff, elected officials, and community champions around the table to discuss exactly what makes Port Elgin and Southampton unique. So it was a great opportunity for us to flesh out some ideas and really make these toolkits moving forward. The goal of the Toolkit Day and the Brand Camp Day was to come up with a direct point of differentiation that both communities would be able to add to their destination development potential. And we've heard about the branding idea tonight a little bit, but one of the brand feasibility tests that we reiterated at this workshop was a brand really needs to be authentic, unique, experiential, and something that people and visitors can't get closer to home. So of those meetings, this is what we came up with as part of hearing through the process from our stakeholders in Southampton and Port Elgin. So we'll first talk a little bit about the Port Elgin toolkit, and we'll show you examples of it, and then we'll go on to the Southampton one. So in Port Elgin, we recognize that there are a really exciting downtown atmosphere in our community. Is casual, it's entertaining, it's lively, it's the hub of all activity in Bruce County. So this is where we wanted to capture and emulate the idea of a boardwalk vibe and that atmosphere of there's always something going on and it's lively and entertaining. So this idea is really capturing the essence of a relaxed community where you can find nightlife and all sorts of things, and is the central focus to activities and all sorts of experiences in Bruce County. So this was an interesting brand, and it kind of kept getting reiterated in different ways, but ultimately it was the same kind of essence and feeling that came out from all the workshop participants. So some more examples about different items that are captured in the toolkit, including submission statements, and which helps us to move the goals and the priority actions forward. So the mission being to develop a diversified and healthy business climate in downtown Port Elgin that will support local needs and act as a shopping and entertainment hub for the broader community, incorporating a boardwalk vibe and a feeling into both the public and private spaces that shoppers will experience. So as mentioned is the 5 steps in the Spruce the Bruce program overview. Being strategic and understanding goals and timelines really helps us to move our downtown revitalization agenda forward. So both the Downtown Advisory Committee and other champions in the area have put together a collaboration of action items that they would like to present as priorities moving forward, which get reviewed on a regular basis, including motions that get brought up to council for consideration and future projects. So the actions are organized into the 4 pillars again, so organization, economic development actions, physical design actions, and marketing and promotions. And having this action plan allows everyone to, again, understand the direction of where we're going with the toolkits, where we're starting from, and where we end up hoping to end up with seeing the capital realized in our communities. So the toolkits also provide that look and feel and give us some ideas and food for thought about how those priorities and those goals and actions can actually look on the ground. So the toolkit, this is probably my favorite component of the toolkit, of having all sorts of imagery related to how we can encapsulate that boardwalk vibe. So the screens are a little bit different than probably what the actual toolkit colors will be, but we've got some example imagery, some example materials of how that can translate in the ground and also tie in with current branding work and logo work already done at the municipal level. We've got examples for street furnishings and banners. There's other examples for infrastructure, and just some really great ideas to add some pops of color and some beautification and physical design in our downtowns. Local facades is also a really interesting way that we are starting to probably notice in downtown Port Elgin and Southampton that change is happening. So here are some examples of some proposed designs as well as some finished projects of what they had started with before, investing some private dollars and some matching funding into facades to make our downtowns more enticing to shop and spend money in. So the Southampton Toolkit development process went through the exact same workshop as the Port Elgin one, and it was really wonderful to be able to see so many people out in the community giving us their feedback. So the branding for Southampton, after much discussion, related to this idea of being Ontario's Hamptons, stroked out Southampton. And having a community that has such strong nautical, coastal, and sophisticated ideals, it was a really great tie-in to be able to make the reference to this idea of being in the Hamptons, but essentially developing and trying to work towards their own branding of being iconically known as Southampton. So much like the mission statements helps to take some of the goals and the branding forward in Port Elgin, Southampton will do the same. And it is to enhance the charming destination flavor of downtown Southampton by encouraging and supporting a range of niche businesses on the center on cultural and nautical experiences in our community. Again, some of these actions are a really great opportunity for us to have conversations about some longer-term projects, and they're also divided up into short, medium, and long-term goals that each of the local committees as well as the downtown advisory committees are able to have discussions and have feedback on. So we've got some really coastal colors in relation for Southampton, and we're already starting to see some of those on the ground, and many of them are already inherent to our natural landscape and our community. some guidelines and some recommended material usage just to be able to stimulate some ideas, as well as the connections with the color palettes and the specific tie-ins with the Southampton logo being used. Some examples of our wayfinding signage strategies that are in both Saugeen Shores in Port Elgin and Southampton, and some other options for infrastructure projects. Local facades, again, some interesting renderings to be able to see some ideas go from paper into potential reality, and it's been a really excellent opportunity for us to see how much having one business tackle these encourages their neighbors to do the same. So we definitely see a rollover effect in both of our communities for that. So that fifth and final step, we started to kind of hint at that in the previous slides in the toolkit, is relation to capitalize. And this is where the County of Bruce has been able to provide capital funding to support projects in our downtowns, to be able to stimulate that investment and really ensure that our downtowns are not only economically viable, but beautiful and are marketed and organized as best that they can to make the best representation for visitors and our residents. So some very, very exciting transformations that we'll talk about with the potential adoption of these toolkits. So the toolkit's adoptions today will hopefully allow us to be able to formalize and coordinate all four of these pillars, and to have an opportunity for us to be able to focus our downtown energies into the same vision. So whether it's through private undertakings, public undertakings, when we're on the same page, you'll definitely be able to feel the momentum. So a couple of examples of items that have started you've noticed in our downtown. And this is where having the plans and moving forward with some capital grants have been allowed Spruce the Bruce to be able to support these projects. And that includes leveraging public and private partnerships, downtown beautification projects, downtown signage, encouraging private investment, as well as public space improvements. A few other examples, one that is fresh off the press with a private facade with Coldwell Banker. I believe they've just taken down the scaffolding a day or two ago, and it's wonderful to see that improvement already. Some more examples of businesses and other public undertakings that are already using some of the similar colors and palettes that we've worked together with them to incorporate into the toolkit can be seen, as well as some great Southampton examples, and those chairs are mighty comfortable. A few other ones there. So lastly, just in relation to capital, we just wanted to show a quick reference slide, and just to be able to show that the long-term goal of the Spruce the Bruce program was to essentially stimulate and develop partnerships, both at the provincial level, at the local level, at the grassroots level, the municipal as well. And this is just an example to show you now that we've had a couple of years under our belt working at a regional downtown revitalization program, to be able to show the return on investment that we've been able to gauge, as well as be able to stimulate some partnerships. So of our capitalization, we do offer 6 granting streams, and this is an example of projects that are allocated up to this year to show what are most popular and what the biggest uptake for our capital has been, and that's been in the private sector for both the facade improvement grants and the perpendicular signage and awning grants. In the second slide there, you can see that the funding across the county has been fairly consistent and evenly dispersed between all the municipalities, to show that there's great interest, and there's definitely interest in using capital towards projects that improve your downtown. So our goal today, with the recommendation from the Downtown Advisory Committee endorsing these toolkits, is that a community toolkit is definitely an investment into the bricks and mortar of our downtowns. It's not only that bricks and mortar, though. It's an opportunity to foster community capacity, to elicit change at the grassroots through all 4 pillars, and with the support of the municipality to see our downtowns improve. So if there's any further questions, or we do have representatives from both of the downtown committees that would be happy to speak to you today as well, too.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
That seemed working here.
Yeah, you're cutting in and out, man. I really appreciate that. And just a comment and then one quick question. The comment is, like, kudos to both these groups, Southampton and Port Elgin. I mean, this has taken your future in your hands, and the work that you've all done is just, it's amazing. I'm really impressed by all of this. And it must have been a pleasure for the Deputy Mayor to be sitting as chair for that, just to see the energy that must have come out of it. That's the comment. The question was just a quick one. I just had an idea, the terms and the time frame. What is a definition of short, mid, and long?
If I can answer that, Mr. Mayor. In the toolkits, we put just a general idea that a short term would be a 0 to 3 months, a medium term would be 3 to 6 months, and a long term would be 6 to over a year.
Councillor Shildroth.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Can you put that one pie chart into a dollar amount for me, please? I guess the two numbers that I'd be looking for is how much was leveraged this year, and because we're going to be, whoever's here is going to be talking about obviously in 2015 budgets, how much money, is there any thought on how much money you'd be looking at in 2015 to leverage?
So the information we have up here, we can only speak to up to 2013 because our projects are still ongoing. Our grants and the projects are still in the process of being worked on, and they won't be fully finished until at least October 31st of this year. So unfortunately, I won't have financial numbers to be able to provide, but it is really interesting just to see the uptake and the interest in the volume of the number of grants, both spread out throughout the different municipalities as well as the granting streams.
Vice Mayor.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor, and thank you for your presentation. I've always been the guy that sits here and goes, but can we afford to do it? I want to take a minute to thank Luke and Diane and all of the guys out there in the audience who put their stuff into this, because all of a sudden we have in front of council, and I'm speaking particularly of the new council, an ability to see a direction and a result and an image that in my mind is workable, and we've never had that before. So I really want to congratulate you guys for all the work you've done, and I think that the new council will be well served by this document, and I'm certainly supportive of it. Thanks, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Doug. Any other comments? I say that this has been, invariably when you get successes like this, it's a group of people and it's partnerships with Bruce County Planning. I know you people have worked very hard on this over the years, and we've had our ups and downs with it. For sure we have. But, invariably these programs take a number of years to mature, and you start to see some success. So I think I admire everyone that was involved in it for your perseverance, and I think it's going to bring great things to our downtowns and our communities in general. So thank you very much. Is there any other questions or comments? Then I have the motion, and if you can all remember it, I will call the vote. All in favor of the motion? That's carried. Thank you very much. Thanks. The next item on the agenda is a bylaw to authorize the transfer of the Pro Shop lease. And I have the motion that's been moved by Vice Deputy McGowanlock, seconded by Councillor Shildroth, at bylaw 73-2014, being a bylaw to authorize the transfer of a lease agreement from Scoreboard Sports to Gord's Pro Shop and imprints for the Pro Shop in the community complex is hereby read a first, second, and third time, and finally passed and sealed this 25th day of August 2014. Any questions or comments? All in favor? That's carried. The next item on the agenda is the confirmatory bylaw, and it's been moved by Councillor Huber, seconded by Councillor Frost, at bylaw 74-2014, being a bylaw confirming proceedings of the Council of the Town of Saugeen Shores, is hereby read a first, second, and third time, and finally passed and sealed this 25th day of August 2014. All in favor of that motion? That's carried.
I hereby confirm that bylaw 73-2014 and 74-2014 have been read a third time and passed this 25th day of August 2014.
It's been moved by Councillor Legault and seconded by the Deputy Mayor Charbonneau that this regular council meeting of August 25th, 2014 hereby adjourned at 9:20 p.m. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you.